Good morning. Good morning. I am uncaffeinated, no coffee. So my schedule at my second job got changed. So I have to go in today on Monday. And I hope that everyone is doing well. It's February, it's Black History Month. There's so many things that are going on right now. We just had the burial of the young man that was killed by the six police officers. And I'm not going to recap that or replay that. But the world is going to hell, and there's not enough fire extinguishers. It's on fire, people. Um, but, life is good for the most part. Taking my medication. Still here. Have most of my faculties. Can use most of my limbs, and got some food in the fridge and food in the cabinets and some gas in the car. So I'm not going to complain too much. But my subject today is going to be the commercialization of Valentine's Day. I know people say, oh, Valentine's Day, if you love somebody, oh, let's do Valentine's Day, take them out to dinner, buy them a dozen roses and buy this jewelry and all that. For some of us mature adults, not all, but most of us mature adults, I need you to step up the other 11 months of the year. I don't need one day for you to take me out to dinner and to buy me something nice and show the world that on Valentine's Day, a commercialized holiday, that you love me. I need that year round. And for me, I'm fairly simple. Most of the gentlemen, hey, Miss Karen, good morning. Happy Monday. Happy Costco month. Diverting off the subject, if you are a Costco member, you probably have gotten your rewards check if you are executive or business. And I gave almost half of mine back to Costco yesterday, but it was a fun experience. There's some great stuff in Costco, and we'll get to that in a minute. But if you are in a relationship or someone cares about you greatly, then they are showing you their affection, their love, 11 more months out of the year, not just Valentine's Day or February. It's been so commercialized that to me it's really kind of pointless now. It's very sad that people feel like this one day I've got to be grandiose, because all the restaurants, all the florists, all the jewelry companies and whatever else raise their prices at least 85 to 150 or more percent for one day. They know they got you reeled in. Same thing with Mother's Day. They just raise the prices so exorbitantly, and we fall for the trap every time. I used to tell my kids, even when I was a single parent and not making a lot of money, Christmas was not a one haul get it all day. I was fortunate enough to be able to get stuff for my kids year round, not just clothes, but maybe a toy here or a trinket there or something nice there. I know for some people, Christmas, they save and they do everything for Christmas for their kids. And I don't have a problem with that if that is what you have to do, because not everybody makes a great wage. We have responsibilities. So for some people, Christmas for kids can be a one haul day. But if you don't have to, you don't need that one day to do that. And I don't think that was the original intent, of Christmas, was to have one day for everything, to get everything. Um, this is my personal opinion. Please don't shoot me. Do not shoot the messenger of the message that I feel. It's just so holidays have become so commercialized that their root meaning has vanished. You know, if you look up Saint Valentine, and I'm not going to go into the long spiel, but if you look up Saint Valentine and who Saint Valentine was, he was a saint of people and caring people with leprosy and other illnesses. He cared for people. Somehow down the line, it got commercialized to it's Lover's Day and go out and spend all your money and go into debt. And retailers said, if they're going to be gullible, I'm going to have a specialized menu at this restaurant. You can only order these things and spend all your money. And I'm losing people. I had 4 down to 2. But it's just very interesting. Yes, Hallmark and the other entities, I think Hallmark may have led the way, came up with this, and cards. Oh my God, let's not get on cards. I used to be a card person. Matter of fact, Miss Karen, I used to work for Hallmark. Many moons ago, I worked for Hallmark. I was the card setter, the person that went into the stores and made the beautiful displays and put the cards and reordered and make sure the end caps. And I did all that. And that working there just reinforced that. Oh, Miss Karen, $5. That's a $4.99 is a drop in a bucket for a card. It's crazy. I tell my kids, I love my children. I have 2 sons and I have a bonus daughter, their little sister. And well, they're not. She's not little. She's a grown woman with her own child. But I used to tell them, don't buy me a Mother's Day card. Don't waste your money. I know you love me by your actions. My kids have always, called me, come by, Mom, let me do this, wash a dish, sweep a yard, carry groceries, and I'm not saying they're not supposed to do that because that's not a requirement once they are over 18, but they showed me this is how we love you, Mom. We want to do these things for you. Grocery shop for me when I need it, take care of me when I'm sick, those kind of things. I don't want them spending their money or wasting their money on flowers, although they have, which is very sweet of them. But it's not a requirement to show me, oh, my kids didn't buy me a Mother's Day card, so they don't love me. Oh, my kids didn't spend money they probably couldn't afford on me because they love me. No, that's not how it's supposed to work. We have a society that becomes so commercialized that this is, excuse me, I have to check. Okay. I'm semi-work mode. As I said earlier, my days for my other job got cut. So, and I'm losing people. This isn't a great topic. So it's my opinion. But it's just really sad that we've fallen into that. And then, it's Black History Month. We get 1 month. So out of the year, there's Black History Month, there's Hispanic Month and Pacific Islander Month. And I'm like, education and stuff doesn't stop. It's nice to have a day dedicated. A month dedicated, but the holidays, the way they present things to us is just really sad. And I don't know, but I did something last week that I'm very proud of. And I don't know how many adults still do it. I went and got a library card last month. Last week, not last month. Last week? Last month, actually, I think. I went and got a library card. It was very interesting. I haven't had a library card in a while. And there are some services at the library here locally that are very interesting. If you don't have the capacity to own tools, you got to get one, Miss Carrie. If you here locally in Oakland, if you don't have the capacity to have your own personal tools, um, maybe a ladder, maybe a weed eater, good morning, a weed eater or whatever, your library card, if you are in good standing, will allow you to borrow tools. They have a what they call a lending library. You can get a tools, all kind of tools, axe, hoe, and I mean the kind to get things with, rakes, hedge trimmers, everything. So it's a lending library, which is a fabulous idea as long as people, are honest, which is a great thing because a lot of people maybe live in an apartment and can't or don't own tools, hammers, nail gun, blah, 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 to do projects, or even homeowners. Everybody can't afford certain things. So it's wonderful. And I got a library and I went around and it jarred memories. Yes, it does, Miss Karen, in this day and age when stuff is so high. Um, it was really nice to walk into the library. I'm a book girl. I there's pictures on my Instagram and stuff where my book tower, I take some, I add to it. I'm a book girl. I love a book. I'm old. I'm 55. I love a book. I love to hold a book, the feel of a book, to turn a page. Don't get me wrong, the electronic devices are great for those who enjoy that. But me, I'm old school. I like a book. I carry a book almost everywhere I go. I never know if I'm going to have to wait in a line or today I have an appointment. Will I be called on time? Will they be running a little late? When I'm on lunch sometime at work, to relax, a glass of wine and a book. And going into a library just brings back so many. Yeah, I understand, Miss Karen. I didn't find my love of reading until actually I became an adult. Once I got out of school, even when I went back to college, I didn't read as much. But once I got out, I enjoyed a good book. I'm a romantic at heart. So romance, biographies, a little mystery, no horror. Oh, no horror. Um, it's kind of my genres. And I miss, the one thing I do miss really is a bookstore. Now, don't get me wrong, people. Don't be upset. Target and Costco and Walmart and stuff are great for books, but they carry a selected few. You go to a bookstore and they have just an expansion of books. Um, Here, there's a great Black bookstore that I'm associated with in my family called Marcus Bookstore in Oakland on Martin Luther King Jr. Way. Has some great selection. In Berkeley on, I think of Shattuck, there's Pegasus. Of course, there's Barnes and Nobles and some other retail chains, half price books. Books just has the ability to transform your mind and everything. Same thing with magazines, although they are duly expensive. But I'm getting a little off topic. The library, the smell of books, the feel, the crackling of the paper and everything just brings back so many vivid memories. It was something my mother and I shared. My mother was an avid reader. She loved books. And unfortunately, tying into Black History Month, I love the smell of a library too, Miss Karen. Unfortunately, for the African American or Black race, I choose the word Black. a lot of knowledge was kept from us because it was in a book, and we weren't avidly taught to read for many, many centuries. And when we did learn to read, then books were used to sometimes hurt us because then they knew you were smart. And now, we have gotten away as a society a lot of times from reading because that's why so many bookstores are closed. I love that bookstores are still in fashion. And yes, going to a bookstore costs more than ordering on Amazon, buying it from Target, Walmart, Costco. It's a little bit more expensive. But if you're spending $5 or $6 a day on a latte at Starbucks or Pete's Coffee or somewhere else, every now and then you can go into a bookstore, an independent chain, and pick up something, maybe as a gift, maybe as a donation somewhere. In Oakland, we have the little free libraries. People have these cute little boxes, and I think they're in Alameda too, where if you read a book and you're finished with it, and you like to pass it on maybe to someone in your neighborhood or walking by or driving by, you can put the book there and somebody else can enjoy that book. Me personally, I love my hardcovers. If I'm very interested in a hardcover, I'm going to keep it forever and a day. I have some of my mother's dictionaries. My mother was an avid crossword and seek a word person. So when she transitioned, I took one dictionary and I gave it to everyone. I kept one. I gave one to each of my sons, and I have a cousin named Linda who they did search of words and crosswords, and I sent her one and gave it to her. So books are, yeah, I've heard that, Miss Karen, that a lot of places where sometimes gated communities or places with community rooms and stuff, depending on the subject and everything and the care of the book, they will allow you to donate books to that organization. So on top of that, for me, it's been kind of a roller coaster couple of months. I gave an update that I went back into the private sector, corporate America, and boy, oh boy, holy cow. I went to work for Safeway, which is the parent company is Albertsons, which owns Safeway, Vons, and several others. And I did not know at the time that Kroger's is in the midst of trying to acquire Albertsons, and Amazon and a lot of Whole Foods is Amazon. Amazon and a lot of other entities are trying to block that, saying that it's going to become, here we go, it's going to have an unfair advantage because they're going to own so many stores. And the term right now slips my mind, but it's when you have one entity that has more than everybody else. It's not a conglomerate. The word slips me. Miss Karen maybe can help me with the technical word for it. But monopoly, there it is. They're saying that they would have a monopoly of so much of the grocery industry by Kroger's and Kroger's and Albertsons merging, because yes. And it's an interesting dynamic. If you have not worked in corporate America in a long time, or if you have not worked um, with people, especially young people. And when I say young people, I'm not talking about young people in their 40s, us 50 and plus. I'm not talking about your 40s and your 30s. I'm talking about your 20-year-olds. 20s from 18 to 20, I think 29. It has been an eye-opening experience. I have not worked with young people in probably 18 years, maybe. When I worked at Hallmark, there were a few young people. Have not worked with them. Boy, oh boy, the drama, and it's a soap opera. I call it as Safeway Turns. There's the backbiting. There's the non-structure in some places. There is the I got a claw over you, and I'm better than you, and I got more seniority than you, and da 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 da. And it's very interesting because a lot of them thought I was just some old lady coming in that needed a job. I came from corporate America. I worked for the Alameda County District Attorney's Court Appointed Attorneys Program, which means that when you go to court and you cannot afford your own attorney, the court will assign you someone. I was that someone, one of the someones. I got your case. I found an attorney that had a background in that field, and if their calendar was open and they had an availability, I matched you two together. So I come from corporate America. I've worked there. I've worked at a credit union. I've worked accounts payable, accounts receivable. I've worked with controllers. So I'm from corporate America, and I know the structure. And boy, oh boy, when I tell you some of these folks, I know it's working at stuff as either you're young people or people over 55. Yes, the drama. The drama. It's a soap opera. If you don't mind sharing in the comments, if you're not here live, because right now there's only 2 people. I lost a couple of people. I thank you for the 2 people that are here live. But in the comments, if you choose to add, what would you call, if you have any drama at work, what would your series be called? Mine would be called As Safeway Turns. And in today's episode of As Safeway Turns, that would be my intro. That would be my lead in. Because, boy, oh boy, and I don't know if you belong to, well, most grocery stores, as the wine pours. That's a good one, Miss Karen. I like that one. Copyright that. Write a book. That is really good. If you've gone to any chain store, grocery, most grocery chain stores have a dress code. I'm fortunate enough to be able, I just need a black collared or tan collared shirt, mostly black because it doesn't show stuff. No hoodies. It needs to be, we can wear jeans, either light jeans or dark jeans. They can't have any rips, holes. They can't have any designs on them. And then a black shoe. And then they're pretty flexible with a black shoe. It doesn't have to be all black. It could be black with white, black with red, black with orange. It could be a tennis shoe. It could be a non-slip shoe. I so happen to have purchased some that are non-slip because, my balance isn't great. But you get people coming to work in different forms of their variation of the uniform. You get people that come in the different variations of dress. We have one young lady who is very blessed. And for a while, she was very active in showing that. And then someone had to tell her, baby, you need to adjust your, and the conversations, the interaction with customers, the flirting, the how are you today kind of thing is just amazing to me. I mean, there's a thing to be courteous and then there's a thing to be a little over the line. That too, Miss Karen. I was getting to that. The piercings that are allowed. But there are laws now that you can't discriminate based on certain things. That I understand. If you had a piercing, corporate America used to make you take it out. I don't think they can anymore. But the hair color. I have a coworker who every few days, she might be blonde here, she might be a redhead here, she might have brown, she might have yellow. A little confused. Sip my water. I've been out of corporate America true corporate America since probably 2005. Hallmark was a little very lenient, you know, with their dress code because, long as you wore your name badge and your apron and stuff, that she's very colorful. That person's very colorful. Um, Hallmark was not as strict about the dress code as long as you wore what they consider to be clean and not be, holes all everywhere and everything. And you wore your apron or your vest that said Hallmark with your name badge. Excuse me, you were okay. When I worked in corporate America, no. Mm-mm. At one point, they didn't even like you. I'm so old. I remember when I went, red fingernail polish was seen upon as a no. Oh no, red. Especially if you're working with customers, handing them things or doing things with your hands, red fingernail polish was a no. Red fingernail polish, red lipstick, bright red lipstick. And I know times have changed. Some of it was chauvinist and everything. But I came from a world of, you had pantsuits, skirt suits, a blended of the two, blouses, blazers. You had either the 1.5 inch block heel or the two. By the time I got to upper, management, you could wear a 2.5 or a 3 inch pump. No stilettos, no open toes. But the world has changed, and it has become so casualized. At one time, they had to. When a company tells you you can't wear certain things, that's when it's become too casual. I worked at a company part time where years ago they had to tell people no shorts, no cutoff shorts, no flip flops, no tank tops, no baby tees, because they were the little girls were wearing the little short t-shirts, but they would be cut off. You have to tell them, don't come to work like that. I was stupefied, if you know what that word means. But, things have changed. Things are lax because they need people. And it's just been very interesting. So I'm going to start doing a part of my live, this live, based on, the shenanigans of my job. And one of the shenanigans I'm going to go into is, when did it become okay to videotape people at work? We have cameras installed all over. I work at the fuel station, so they have cameras in the ceilings in the main store part and in the employee back room. They have cameras. And one of my coworkers filmed another coworker who may have not have been, I will say it, he was napping on the job. He was injured. He takes a relaxant for pain. It doesn't, completely knock him out, but he gets a little drowsy. And she felt the need to videotape this man and bring it to management. When she could have just have said, on this day at this time, he was napping. They could have researched the film and saw what was going on. Hey, Sister Yoshi, good morning. I'm just wrapping up, Sister Yoshi. Corporate America, and these young people are just, and then, I'm hearing more and more about, hold on. More and more people are telling me about how these young people are coming into the job and they go to lunch or go on break and they are smoking weed and coming back and smelling like marijuana. We had that instance with a couple of young men, and they are no longer there. self-fired. And that's another thing. When did it become okay to, if you don't like the situation, you get in trouble, you don't get in trouble, but you don't like a situation, get into a disagreement with a coworker, you go to lunch and never come back? When did that happen? When did that? I had two coworkers, young gentlemen. One didn't want to work nights, which is closing, which is 1 to 10, which I work. He came to work, left early on a lie, was caught in a lie. The store assistant store director called him and said, "Hey, you need to come back." He said, "Oh, I'm literally further down the freeway, and I can't come back." And he never came back. When did that get to be okay? I know that both parties, the job and you, are in a contract where you're an at will employee, but to just go to lunch or leave early and don't never come back, even if you're in the wrong. I it just I'm old. I'm officially old because I was raised different. And I understand some of these young people didn't have the same upbringing I had. But the common sense is not common. You had to go through this interview, you had to sign these papers, you had to do this training, all this stuff to get the job so you just can walk off the job. I don't know. I'm very confused. Or as I like to say, I'm very confused, and I don't like to be. But working with the public again has reminded me why I didn't like working with the public a long time ago. It has reminded me why I don't like to work with people. People are very rude. People are very entitled. People are very angry. And whoever you are, if you're with them this close to them, they're angry. They may take it out on you. I wonder that too, Miss Karen, how they even got hired. When I was interviewing, I'm sorry, not when I was interviewing, when I was in training, computer training, and they were still interviewing and they were doing it in the same room. Some of the people that came to the interview, and I'm not just talking about children, but adults. I understand everybody does not have a shirt and a tie or a blouse and a skirt or slacks or whatever to do an interview. I understand that. That is not what is. Hey Pamela, hey PK, how you doing? I understand that we don't all own what they call interview attire. That has changed over the years. Uh, but some of the clothes I saw people come to an interview with was very interesting. Very interesting. And I'm not just talking about ripped jeans, the jeans with the little, slashes in them that are so popular. I own a pair. They don't have slashes. They have like little creative holes. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about some of the women in their tops, some of the young men and what they wore. It was just very interesting. And I guess because corporate companies understand, like the retail industry and stuff, they understand that they are not, I would say, interview. Some of them have never even been taught how to do interview. And the school system, the public school system has done 2 or 3 generations such a disservice. I'll go back to when I was in school. The worst thing public school could have done was take out home ec and shop. Home ec and shop. Home ec and shop taught a lot of young people who parents or whatever their situation, some basic necessities in life. How to measure, how to follow a recipe, how to cook a basic stuff, how to mend, how to repair, banking, which is totally different because there's two generations probably that don't even know what a signature is. To sign their name is to print their name. They took cursive writing out of school. They took basic banking out of school because there's two generations that don't even know how to write a check. I'm not sure if some of them even seen a check, let alone know how to write one, how to deposit one, know how to reconcile their checking account. When I was in high school, they didn't have home ec. But what they did was if you were a student in good standing and you had what they consider almost like a free period, you worked in the cafeteria. And that was the most coveted job. Working in a school cafeteria, high school, that was a coveted job. You got a little stipend. But I mean, the chili cheese fries, the hot dogs, the pizza, the suicides. And if you're not familiar with a suicide, Miss Karen may be, we're about in the same age, right? A suicide was a little bit of all the sodas there mixed together. There were perks. And I just think, the school districts and the powers that be, the government, have done these young people several generations. My kids were born in the 80s. I graduated in 1986. That's how old I am. So all those probably after that, because they stopped home ec before I even got to home ec, and shop stopped probably when I went to school in the 9th grade. The basics. Some young people, how to put I probably can't do it efficiently anymore, but I learned how to replace a zipper. Those are skills that are needed, especially young men and young women, when you get out on your own. Have you had a zipper replaced at the cleaners lately? It's like $10. If you can get to a Joann Fabrics or even a Walmart that has the sewing center or whatever, how much is a zipper and thread? Because you don't even need the little tool to take the seam out anymore. You can a little pair of scissors, or if you have a sharper knife. Yeah, that's what it was, to save money. Because I can tell you now, as manly as men don't think it is a turn on when a man can cook. They don't get it. They don't get that for a woman. They think a woman should be cooking. It is a turn on for me if a man can cook, and he can cook more than breakfast and a steak and potatoes. I know a gentleman who cooks well, two actually, who cook very well. One of the best birthday dinners I ever had made for me was shrimp fettuccine. It was delicious. He did not follow a box, which would have been okay with me, but he's old enough. He knew the thing. That is a turn on. That is sexy to me. A man that can cook and cook well and can do something other than grilled steak and potatoes. Oh, put on that apron, get in that kitchen, start humming or singing and dancing while you're whipping. Ladies, they don't get it. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, see, I graduated in '86, and they still had. You couldn't buy sodas out of a machine, but they had fountain, and you could buy the fountain. And I think back when I was in school, it was either Coke or Pepsi, orange, root beer, because orange was Fanta. I remember Fanta was real big. It was either Coke or Pepsi, orange, which was Fanta, root beer, A&W, and grape, and it was I think we had ginger ale, but I know we had the basic four: the grape, the orange, the root beer, and the Coke. And you can mix one of each, and we called it a suicide. But my future daughter-in-law is a teacher, and my grandson is so advanced at 4, and part of it is because both of his parents went to school, but it also, even then, without them being college graduates, speaking to children and speaking them correctly, not the "Woo, you just a baby," and that is what they learn, and that's what they repeat. But from me to my kids to my grandkids, we've always spoken to them. I always have spoken, even my kids and my grandkids, like we were having a conversation. You did what today? What? You went outside and got some sun? Tell me about that sun. Really? I would have conversations, and I would act like they were talking to me. That was just me, and that's how I was raised. Everybody doesn't do that. Well, congratulations, Miss Pamela. 72, my mama said the only reason not to get old is to die young. So, I hope to be 72 someday and in good mind and good spirits and good health. But the world has changed so much, and it's so digitized that I just, I'm going to, in about, if, you know, knocking on wood, if I live another 20 years, I'm going to be a relic. I'm going to be the old lady. I mean, thank you, Miss Pamela. I take that as a compliment. I just, the things that we know and the things that even my parents knew and taught us, some of that stuff is obsolete now. I still remember having to weigh things, and I'm going to show my age. When you weigh something, you put something on one side, and you had to put the weights on the other side to try to balance it out. 5 grams. What I remember doing that at the grocery store. They didn't have digital scales, or the scale that it had a basket on it. You put it on it, and the needle moved. And I remember that. There was no such thing as digital scales. I mean, it's very amazing, you know. And I don't mean to rant and rave. It's just the world is very much different. And the part that scares me is if the digital age goes down, some of these young people don't know how to go back to the basics. Have you ever seen a cashier, you give them exact change and they put it in the machine wrong and they can't figure it out? They got to get a calculator on their phone and figure out the change. I was taught when you gave change back, it was 1685. 5 made 90, 10 made $1, 17, $1 made 18, another dollar made 19, $1 made 20. I do that at work. And people of my generation and stuff get it. The young people are like, why she counted like that? Yeah, I miss, they don't do cursive. You know what I really miss, Miss Karen? That my mother was so good at, and I really want to take a class, and I don't even know if they have classes. I would love to go back to calligraphy. Oh my God, calligraphy was so beautiful. And my mother was such an artist with it. My mother, until she got really sick, my mother had the most beautiful penmanship. My mother could print, and it looked like it came out of a printer. My mother could print so beautifully. My mother's cursive writing was so beautifully. Her calligraphy was so eloquent. She looked at my signature one day and said, "You're in the wrong field. You should have been a doctor because I can't read that." My mother, you know, the dinosaur. But, you know, I remember setting my hair when I had hair, longer hair, with rollers and just all this other different stuff. You know, the little dispensers that took your money, and it was a little platform and a little hand would come out and snatch the quarter. That stuff, I see stuff at yard sales and stuff, and I just wish I had somewhere in this joint to put everything. Yes, Miss Miss Karen, yes. Just beautiful things that are now considered an art form when it used to be when I was growing up, it was just standard. I'm old. I shouldn't say, I'm officially older. I'm not going to say I'm old. I'm older because there are certain things that I wish would come back. The one thing we do have, if you live in Northern California and the Bay Area in certain areas, we still have drive ins. I got to go to one. I haven't been to one in a while. You know, they digitized it where you turn your speaker to a certain, and I have to let my car run because my car radio turns off after a certain while. But I remember you used to, put the big monstrosity of a speaker in the window, roll it up, and that's how you heard. Those were good times. You know, they're bringing certain stuff back. I'm seeing in places roller skating rinks. Oh my God, roller skating. When we were growing up, that was oh my God, we couldn't wait till Saturday because everybody's going to go to the roller skating rink or go to the roller skating area that had certain parks that they would block off the street and we could roller skate up and down the street. Oh my God. Or the thing that most of us of this age that are on here remember. Going outside. Come back when the street light come on. Be back home before the street light come on. We couldn't stay in the house. They didn't want you in the house. Go outside. Get fresh air. Play. My father cleared out the backyard, so we had a basketball hoop, and he cemented a little pad so I could turn my little circles and work on my skating. You know, this past Christmas, I heard laughter outside and went outside, and there were children playing outside. Bikes and skates and skateboard and those little razor thingies, and it's just the best sound. I love driving by a park and seeing kids outside playing. Because kids don't go outside and play like that anymore. They're so busy on their phones and video games. My granddaughter's 12. When she was here last summer, you want to go anywhere? You want to go to the exploratorium? You want to go do something? Nah, I just want to talk on the phone with my friends and play video games. And we're like, what? Like, no, we're going to go take a drive. She's sitting there like, are we going to be home soon? I don't have any internet, or, why are we outside? Where are we going? We're not going anywhere. I miss that as a kid, and I still do it every now and then. A Sunday drive. It was mandatory when I was growing up. My father would get up in the morning, my mother and father would get up in the morning, cook breakfast, start food, or whatever. And at a certain time, we got piled in the car and went for a Sunday drive. And my mom had a 1966 Ford convertible. And if the weather was nice and it was warm, my father would drop that top and we'd go Sunday drive. My mom had her glasses on. I had my little glasses on. My mom had her scarf like, I can't think of the lady's name. She died over in Europe because her scarf was so long it got caught in the wheel well and snapped her neck. Isadora Duncan. My mom would put that scarf on and her big black sunglasses, and I had my little sunglasses. My dad had on his. I'd sit in the little middle seat, and we'd go for a drive all out in the country and all over in San Francisco and Sangerville. It was absolutely wonderful. I never thought in my life I would treasure those times. So simple. Going. One good thing is people still go to the beach. The beaches are polluted, but they still go to the beach. There's still a few amusement parks that are worth it. But these young folks, I don't know. Working with them and talking to them, I'm older. I'm definitely older. So, that's my thing. And if you came in late or didn't watch from the beginning and kind of skipping through, if you're working in corporate America at your job, what's your soap opera job link, hookup, name? Your soap opera. Mine is As Safeway Turns. And on today's episode is As Safeway Turns. Miss Karen has As the Wine Pours. What's yours? Whether you work for a corporation or you work for an individual or you work for yourself, what would be your soap opera slogan? I want to know. I'm very interested. It has been great to have you guys. Hi, Uncle James. I'm wrapping up, unfortunately. Yes, Pamela, Isadora Duncan. It's been a pleasure to be here for the 50 plus minutes. I thank you so much for your time. If you could pass the word on to anyone that has not subscribed yet, I'd appreciate it. I need one more subscriber that needs to post so they are official, so Facebook does not take them away, that I can go live remotely, not just from the office, but from my phone. I need one more person because it takes 50 before you can go live via telephone or tablet or whatever. And I want to start going around and doing some things, some adventures outside. So I thank you. It's Monday morning. I have to go to work today because my schedule changed. I hope you all have a great day. I hope you, your family, your village are safe and sound. I hope you are warm because the weather is very chilly. Right now it's 48 degrees and it's already 10:30 here in sunny but very cool Oakland, California. I wish you nothing but the best. Mentally, physically, spiritually. I hope this week, if we do not speak again, treat you well. I wish you prosperity in this year of the rabbit, Chinese New Year. Be good to yourself. Self-care is very important. I don't care what they say. Take a moment to breathe. Take a moment to just be in touch with yourself. We're going so much and we have so much digitally, visually, socially. Take a moment to sit with yourself and just really be in touch with yourself. Stretch, move, be good to you. Because these days are hard and we go through so much that we forget to check in. Check in with yourself. check in on a friend maybe that you haven't spoke to a while, or a family member, or someone you haven't talked to. And I mean, talk to, not text, talk to. I'm working on that. I text a lot of people, but I don't get a chance to talk to them, have a conversation, hear their voice. That's part of losing to the digital age. I'm going to go back to maybe writing a note, sending a card. I'll be at the 99-cent store, Miss Karen, with those cards because the stores are way too high. Or maybe buy a pack of cards. I think they still sell those and notes. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your thumbs up. Thank you for your support as always. Have a great day.